Lane Kiffin arrived in Baton Rouge and met the assembled media. And I'm telling you, we had this conversation, and I put this out on Twitter. You said he's going to be a villain. Everybody's going to hate him forever from now on. And I said, no, once he starts saying funny things, we're going to be right back in his boat, right back on his side. I'm telling you, Ari, there's a clip we're going to play. I can see it now. It's not going to take long.
It got me thinking, though, and I did a poll asking people, do you like Lane Kiffin? I just said, do you like Lane Kiffin, yes or no?
Ooh, that's a good, like a Q score kind of thing, yeah.
And your point is that they might not right now, but in 2 years, they won't care anymore.
Yeah, it won't matter, yeah.
But right now, 72% of the 2,400 people who voted in the poll said no.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that right now, but we should set a reminder on your phone for 2 years from now.
Yeah.
And we'll ask the same question because or even 1 year from now. I'm very curious to see what happens.
I mean, when you think about the pantheon of sports, I don't know if that's the right word. If you just think about the entire world of sports and like some of the terrible things people have done, just like have nothing to do with loyalty in football.
Or
like,
yeah, exactly. Off the field. Way off the field. Yeah.
Like really bad people have become very famous still. So, I mean, like the line of not being able to come back from like whatever Lane Kiffin is doing.
Yeah, this does not cross that threshold at all. So
exactly. Yeah.
All right. Here's a clip about money, because I've been inundated with people saying this is, throughout this process when, we found out LSU was open, we found out Florida was open, we found out they wanted Lane Kiffin. Everybody's like, it's all about money. It's all money. I want you to listen to Lane Kiffin, and I guarantee you the average listener is not going to believe him. And afterward, I'm going to tell you why you should.
I said through the process, okay, I'm never going to make a decision on money. And I'm telling you right now, I don't know what my contract is here. That's not very financially responsible, okay? I'm sure it's really good, okay? I don't know what it is, nor did I know at the other places what the numbers were. Because I said in the beginning, I told Jimmy Sexton, don't tell me the numbers, okay? I want to make a decision that has nothing to do with money for me. Now, tell me the numbers in the plan for what the money is for the players. Because that's everything in that area to me, okay? Not what I make, what they make to understand how can you build this. And if you're going to make a change and you're going to move and all these people are going to move and you're going to do all this and go through all that, which was a very challenging, obviously, last 48 hours, in a lot of ways sucked. It's the only way I can describe it. It sucked for a lot of people. And there was no way to possibly do it, in my opinion, any better than we did from a timing standpoint, because it's a bad scheduling system of how it's set up. And eventually, hopefully, it gets like the NFL where you can't do that in the season and don't have to make those decisions. But in that, it was very important and very critical. And Verge and his team had a really, really good plan.
So I didn't know about I don't know what my contract says. I don't know if I believe him necessarily that he doesn't know what his salary is going to be or anything like that. Do I believe he cared intensely about what it was going to be during this process? No, I don't. I've from talking to people throughout all of this and getting some more intel yesterday on Florida's pursuit of Lane Kiffin. I don't think Lane Kiffin was motivated by money at all in this thing. Jimmy Sexton basically went to the bidders, to Ole Miss and to Florida and LSU, and said, hey, he doesn't want to do this negotiation thing 3 times. Like, we're going to negotiate once. So he's going to pick what he's going to do, and we'll end up negotiating with that team. And you can say that's giving away your leverage, but you always had the option to open it back up. So the leverage remained. And I don't think Lane Kiffin, and it comes back to what we've said millions of times on this show. None of these coaches ever think they're going to fail. They don't care about the buyout. They don't care about the this, the that. They just want the job. And that was Lane Kiffin's sole motivation in this one, was that job. I don't think it was about the money at all, because Ole Miss could have paid him the same. Florida could have paid him the same. I think that's the job he wanted.
Yeah. I mean, I think that money would have been a bigger factor if there was a major difference in the offers he was getting. It's not like one was 14 million, one was 9 million.
There was going to be virtually no difference. Everybody was going to match everybody.
So I believe him in the sense that I don't know what my salary is because it might have been $500,000 more or less than the other options, but you're all in the same general neighborhood, which is record setting. You know, and I also believe that too, because if it was all about money, you would have seen a more, I think, traditional bidding war type scenario that would have made it not play out.
It would have been everybody sending in offers, and that's really not what happened.
So that's not what happened.
There were some proposals, I think, that got sent early on in the process, but it was kind of just, let's get started talking. And then Jimmy told everybody, hey, no, we're going to do this at the back end. And so that's how it went down. And I thought that was very interesting. And again, I'm sure there's a significant portion of the population that does not believe him when he says that.
Well, I mean, it's also a pretty fair assumption in 90% of cases that money won out. Like, it's like, if you think that, like, you're probably going to be right 90% of the time you think.
This is an unusual case. Like most job situations, you and I have been through these. The money hasn't always been the overriding factor, but it often is. And most of the time, I'd say it is.
Yeah. So what's the next clip, Andy?
The next one is Lane talking about Tiger Stadium. And this is one of those that I imagined he thought about this a little bit during the process, but probably didn't hit him really until he got to Baton Rouge. And this is something that I imagine everybody who's taken over at LSU, it's hit them kind of the same way. Here's Lane talking about Tiger Stadium.
Been here a number of times, you know. Now that you say it, I think about it. I've been down there in what you guys have watched for a long time, that I would say that you would probably say two of the most intense times and feelings, and those were 2 overtimes, one at Alabama here, and then one at Ole Miss here in the overtime 2 years ago. And, God, man, that feeling on the other sideline, all the way from the warm-ups of those night games, man, it is not. I coached a lot of places, okay, and a lot of road games, NFL, college. There is nothing like the feeling when you're on the other sideline and the intensity that you feel. It's like a weight that you feel. You know, I've talked to head coaches who have been here before, obviously. Okay, and they talk about like feeling on the other sideline, like how they feel lifted up by the crowd in the intensity. Well, when you're on the other sideline, you feel it the other way, and especially as you get to crunch time and overtime at night. So I've felt that, and I always thought to myself, man, what if we had that advantage on our side? So if we combine what we do, the way that we coach players, the systems that we run, and now we have that intensity on our side for the opponent to deal with, again, that's how it painted all together to say, and this is where you're supposed to be.
Now, I will say the weight can be felt by the home coach at Tiger Stadium as well. I think if you ask Brian Kelly, Ed Orgeron, and Les Miles, there were times when they felt the weight of that crowd on themselves as LSU's coach when things started to turn. But when Tiger Stadium is rocking, when that fan base is happy, when LSU is winning, I contend there is no better home field advantage in sports.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think that if you break down this press conference, Andy, clip by clip, you know, you're going to find a lot of advantages. Oh, it's a big stadium and it's super loud at night. And, oh, it's a wonderful fan base that's completely bought into all the things that we're doing it all the time. Like, oh, the recruiting advantages. Like, I think that like what you're basically doing is showing your work on a math equation of why it's one of the 5 best jobs in the country.
Yeah, and why he took the job, which he needed to explain, not from a PR standpoint necessarily, but just to get it out there. This is why I did this. This is why that whole circus happened. The holiday season is here, and Academy Sports Outdoors has the legendary gifts you need at undefeatable prices every day. Shop in-store or online at academy.com to save on gifts on everybody's list. From football jerseys and basketball hoops to fire pits and deer stands. The most wonderful time of the year happens here this Christmas. Give the gift of fun from Academy Sports and Outdoors. And my son came to me this morning. He has a charity drive that they're doing in one of their classes. And he said, you know what? I think a really good cool gift for these families would be a soccer ball. And I said, well, why a soccer ball? And he said, because you can just drop the ball and the kids can all play and they can have fun with it. And it just gives them hours of entertainment. It'd be really cool. So Academy, boom, got a soccer ball, ready to go. So when you're in a pinch, when your kid drops we got a charity drive at school, we need a gift right now. Academy Sports and Outdoors, place to go, or academy.com for all of your sports and outdoors needs.
Right. So, I mean, I think again, I don't know if there's a lot of people who don't have a specific dog in the fight that are questioning the actual decision of doing it. I think with Lane Kiffin, the discussion has been more about the execution of the exit more than it is the decision to go. Yeah.
But he doesn't get to go to LSU unless he exits like that, because I mean, I guess he could have, the only way he could have exited more gracefully is understanding that he wasn't going to be able to coach Ole Miss and just be like, I get it. I'm okay. I'm gone.
Yeah. Or like,
that's the only thing that would have happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Done it in a way of like, hey, this is what I want to do.
But everybody'd still be pissed off at him right now for that.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too. It's like, if you think that people wouldn't be calling him a quitter or a backstabber or all the things that people are calling him, even if he would have left gracefully, and, you know, do you think that people would be like, oh, he's changed? Like, everybody's going to say the same things that they're saying. So from his standpoint, it probably makes a lot of sense to just,
what's the difference?
What's the difference? I'm going to push my leverage as far as I can go, and maybe they'll let me do this. And if they don't, then whatever, you know, like, that's just kind of the way it is. So, you know, I think it's very easy to be critical of him. And I have been, you have been. I think the number one thing that has irked me about this, if I could express one thing, it's that he has tried to come across, or at least even, and I think he's truly perceived himself as being a victim in this scenario, and you're not the victim, Lane. Like, you know,
I do think he believes that, even though it's not true.
It was a hard situation. I certainly believe that it sucks to give your life 6 years to some place and then being flipped off on your way onto the airplane and all those stuff. Or like he mentioned that people were trying to drive him off the road 3 separate times during his news conference on Monday. And like, there's no exiting a nice way. I feel like you made the decision, being the villain or being called a backstabber or disloyal or you haven't changed, are all byproducts of that decision, and you're not the victim. You got to improve your existence in life based on the way that you perceive it, and sometimes there are some consequences for doing that.
All right, now we get to the clip that I think will explain why I believe if you ask that "do you like Lane Kiffin" poll question again in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you're going to get different answers. Here's Lane talking about calling our pal Coach O.
Actually, we're going by Tiger Stadium. I called one person. I called Ed Ogeron. And I said, hey, man, all I can do is, man, this place just makes me want to talk like you right now. I did. I was like, we were in the car, and the kids were in there, and I was like, and the coaches, and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like channeling Ed right now. I was like, I'm feeling him. Like, I rolled down the window, and I was like, go Tigers to the fans. And I'm like, so I called Ed. I said, I don't know what's going on, man, but I'm feeling you right now. And he's like, Coach, you're at the best place in America. So I feel that. So as I thought I would do, I have no idea what your question was.
Coach O. Now, maybe does this explain the Brian Kelly family thing? Like, because Lane said it just sort of hit him. Like the desire to talk that way just seeped into his pores when he hit the Baton Rouge air. Maybe that's what happened to Brian Kelly and why he said family at that basketball game.
You know that, like, I have like I say things impulsively all the time because I have like this bubbling, like, go get him, Ags. Like, I like saying that.
Right.
Go Tigers.
Which is not something they don't say, go get him, Ags, but they do say go Tigers.
You don't have to correct me. That's a completely and utterly authentic way of cheering for A&M. But go Tigers is a fun thing to say. At least Lane Kiffin acknowledged it, though. Like, I think that was maybe the difference between him and
yes.
And let's be honest about something here too. And I'm not trying to pile on Brian Kelly, but aura and how you are and what people expect of you is certainly plays into how and what you can say, how you can behave, and things you can pull off. And like, I just think that Lane Kiffin is on a different playing field when it comes to swag and energy and everything else that allowed it to happen that way.
Well, did you watch that clip though and think, okay, when he's doing one of these, because there's a moment like that in every third Lane Kiffin weekly press conference, or maybe every other one. So in a year or two, when he has a moment like that goes viral, that everybody laughs about, if you ask that poll question again, do you like Lane Kiffin? Do you think more than 50% will say no? Or do you think more than 50% will say yes?
I don't know, Andy. I'm sure he can win people back, because winning is the cure. I mean, Tiger Woods, people were rooting for like crazy, and like he did things that I would say are worse on a human level. So like, you know,
and they came back around. Like when he won that Masters, that was the last major he won.
It was like one of the most impactful sporting event results in the history of the world. So like, you know,
and that was after everything.
But you know, college football fans, like Schadenfreude is like a big part of it, and I think that like college football fans hold on to things that happened in the past a little bit more closely to the vest than other sports. Is that a fair thought? Is that a fair estimation?
Yeah, they remember everything. The best example I can give you of that, of college football fans having one, incredibly long memories, two, instant recall of those incredibly long memories. So I was covering the Georgia-Auburn game in 2017 at Jordan-Hare. That was 10 years after Georgia beat Auburn in Sanford Stadium in 2007. The song that was very popular that year was Crank That by Soulja Boy. You do. So they were playing that at the end of the game, which was a decisive Georgia win. And so near the end of the game, they're playing that right before Georgia kicks off. They come back from commercial on CBS, and Vern Lundquist is dancing in the booth to Soulja Boy. And it was a kind of a moment burned into everybody's memory. And so 2017, Georgia is number one in the country. They come into Jordan-Hare Stadium. They are kicking Auburn's ass in the second half. And this is late in the game. I was already down on the field, I think, at this point. And you hear, doo, doo, doo. The whole stadium just explodes. Everybody remembered that. Everybody knew why that mattered. And that is what you're talking about.
Yes. 100%. College football brain is more powerful, I think, than other sports. You know, and the question here really in terms of pressure and winning people back is like, nobody has stopped to consider this, but like, what if LSU goes 9-3 the next 3 years?
He'll be fired.
And then what happened here this weekend will come back into play in terms of his marketability for whatever next job he wants. So like, I feel like in doing what he did, and this is an aspect that no one said, I think I'm the first person that said this, that you are gambling your career on this move, because it took him how many years to bounce back from the USC Raiders stuff?
He's not gambling his career. Somebody, if he gets fired at LSU, somebody will hire him to coach football again. But
yeah, no, I will
say,
like in terms of being at a top tier place, like this is your shot.
This is the shot. Yeah. This is your shot at one of those. You got to make this count. Now, speaking of stadium music choices, Lane goes to Oxford next year. Lane goes to Knoxville next year. When he goes to Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, what are the odds that they will play "Ho, use a hoe, ho, use a hoe, I said that use a hoe"? What are the odds of that?
Probably 100%. You know, Andy, we have a lot of like coaches returning and stuff to places, and players returning to places that they once were that were high impact. How do you think this will land on the most intense returns list. Like, and I'm trying to think of like,
Nick Saban back to Tiger Stadium is probably the number one of that. If I had to think of the past 25 years or so.
who do you think is the most intense return of any athlete ever in sports? Because there's one that sticks out to me.
Ooh, this is hard because there's so many where the athletes have done it. LeBron back to Cleveland, but they play so many regular season games.
That's the one that I think is the most intense, when LeBron returned with the Heat to Cleveland for the first time.
Yeah.
I think that this could like match up to that.
I think Nick going back to LSU with Alabama was as bad as that.
Yeah. Certainly.
So, yeah, this is going to be off the charts. I mean, Lane did get a golf ball thrown at him and a mustard bottle at Tennessee.
Yeah. Also, if you throw a golf ball,
was that his first? I'm trying to remember if that was his first time back at Tennessee as a head coach. He had obviously coached at Tennessee. Hi, producer River. He'd obviously coached at Tennessee as Alabama's offensive coordinator. So it's not like that was his first time back in Neyland Stadium.
2021 was his first time back as a head coach, but he did come back in like 2015 as the OC of Bama. So
So yeah, but first time back as a head coach, mustard bottle, golf ball. Got it.
I mean, if you throw a golf ball at somebody from the upper deck and it lands on their head, you could literally kill them. Like, it's like, you should be careful.
Yeah, don't throw stuff at him.
Yeah.
Boo him mercilessly, of course, but don't throw stuff at him.
Talk
That's
shit.
assault, brother.
Yeah, don't assault people. Like, there was some pretty intense reactions too. Like, I struggle with this, Andy, because on one hand, the people who drove to the airport to yell at him and flip him off as he flew away are the reason why SEC football and college football in general are a different breed than some of the other sports. But then on the other
reason why it's my favorite sport.
But on the other hand, I have a hard time as an adult understanding why somebody would take time out of their day to do that. So like that.
Listen, I don't care if I understand it. I'm just glad they do, because that's our people.
Yeah.
This is our audience. Like, these are our people.
Yeah. The Lunatic
Just don't
Fringe.
throw anything. Don't throw anything.
Dude, we honestly should have just named our podcast The Lunatic Fringe, but I feel like I
feel like the Ohio State version of that took it in such a bad place.
Yeah.
We want it to be said with love.
Yeah. I mean, certainly, but like, I feel like being part of the Lunatic Fringe is almost a badge of honor at this point.
But yes, I mean, like, what I want to see is a meeting between the people who were flipping Lane off at the Oxford airport and the people who were booing Gene Chizik when he landed at the Auburn airport.
Yeah.
Because it'd be two generations. Like, that's 15 years later.
Yeah. It is so funny too to get booed, and then like, how long do you think it takes a private jet to fly from Oxford to Baton Rouge? Like an hour?
If that, 45 minutes, yeah.
Like the dichotomy of that.
Yeah.
Like,
and then also, woo! Go Tigers!
Go Tigers! But I do think that Lane Kiffin's foray into Baton Rouge in the highest of high levels of college football is going to be a very interesting story for us to track long term. And I'm very excited to see how that all plays out, while also feeling remorseful and upset for Ole Miss fans who shouldn't be dealing with this during one of the most exciting times in program history. Like that, right? I mean, both of those things can be true.
Exactly right. Exactly right. We're going to have a lot to talk about. Lane Kiffin will continue to give us a lot to talk about. Ole Miss will give us a lot to talk about here.